Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. The precious metals have taken a bit of a hit today. Gold has logged its first loss in 4 sessions as the U.S. stock market, dollar, and bond yields climb, and copper is actually falling for a 13th straight session, which is the longest streak of losses on record and could be a clue as to why silver is not gaining on gold in the markets. So let's explore. Yes, that's right. This comes to us from Market Watch. Gold futures on Monday posted their first loss in 4 sessions, with haven demand for the metal taking a hit as U.S. equities partially bounced back from a coronavirus-triggered sell-off, and the U.S. dollar and government bond yields rose. A rise in the U.S. dollar index was up 0.44%. Gains in the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 0.51%, and the S&P was up 0.73%, as gold futures settled, as well as a climb in rates for the 10-year Treasury note, up 1.64%. Its yield to as high as $1.57 on Monday helped to weigh on bullion prices, which tend to weaken when the buck strengthens and stocks rally. And this is good news, especially for economically, and which is why we hold. And this is another reason why I mentioned in prior video how people shouldn't lose heart in terms of holding precious metals for times like this when it does take a hit. And to think about it, the coronavirus, sooner or later that's going to go away. With the technology and the light that we have now, more than likely these can be contained. It's in everybody's best interest that there not be an epidemic and outbreak. Even if there's misinformation coming from China, most of that misinformation is probably just to cover themselves. But make no mistake, they're building hospitals and the like to kind of try to treat this thing, something that has a relatively long incubation period, which is what makes it so dangerous. Gold, continuing on with the article, also competes with bond rates for haven buyers, with rising yields tending to attract investors in treasuries away from precious metals. While all eyes are on the headlines about the virus, many central banks may be dovish, which lowers other currencies, even as the U.S. seems to be the most liquid and the safest for capital, said George Jarrow, managing director at RBC Wealth Management. All of this is temporarily leaving gold buyers to seek other trading opportunities for now. Gold for April delivery was down negative 0.42%. On COMEX fell by $5.50 or nearly 0.4% to settle at $1,582.40 an ounce at the time of the writing of the article. We'll explore the precious metal prices here momentarily. Following the losses in the last 3 consecutive sessions, prices had drifted up to an intraday peak near $1,600, touching $1,598.50, and I must have missed that, but that is something else. That's according to FactSet data. That marked the highest intraday level since 2013. That is something else. I remember back when those prices were there, that is about the time that I purchased, that I cashed out my IRA. So the gold has held its own, silver not so much in that regard. But I did spend more of that money on gold than I did silver. I'm thankful I did now. Price losses for the metal had worsened in the wake of data released Monday that U.S. manufacturers grew their businesses in January for the first time in 6 months. That is good news. The survey by the Institute for Supply Management rose to 50.9% last month to 47.8%. And keep in mind that this is before any of the trade agreements have been implemented. Yes, they're signed, but not implemented. So this is really good news. Imagine once the trade stuff comes into play, what that effect that will have positively. The moves for bullion come after the most active April contract saw a weekly climb of 0.6% and a rise of about 3.8% for the month. The settlement level also marked the highest weekly price finish since March 2013. China's National Health Commission on Sunday said cases of the novel coronavirus reached 17,205, while the death toll was more than 360. Cases also have been reported outside the country, with the World Health Organization and Trump administration last week declaring public health emergencies. The Asian influenza has drawn comparisons to SARS, or severe acute respiratory syndrome, and is expected to hurt near-term economic expansion in China, which is considered one of the biggest buyers of precious and industrial metals. Yes, that's true, but they're also one of the biggest miners as well, too. Think about that. That means gold won't be mined in China. Still, gold mostly has been a beneficiary of the recent worries tied to the Asian outbreak and its potential to hurt the global economy, if only on a short-term basis. The People's Bank of China has injected 1.2 trillion yuan, which is about $173 billion, into local money markets to soften the shock from the coronavirus, among several measures enacted to help curtail sharp declines in China's main indexes, including the Shanghai Composite Index. Chinese markets have been closed since January 24th due to extended Lunar New Year holiday. Chinese regulators also urge banks and other financial institutions to boost lending and avoid calling in debts in areas severely affected by the pandemic. Among other metals, March silver was down negative 1.95%, shed 34.2 cents, or 1.9%, at $17.67 an ounce after closing Friday with a 0.1% advance, with the most active contract finishing with a gain of 0.5% in January. April platinum attacked on 1%, and palladium traded now at $2,214 an ounce, down 0.5%. They don't not mention of here we go. Copper futures, however, settled at the lowest level since May 2017, down a 13th straight session, which marked the longest streak of losses on record, based on data going back to 1984, November of that year, according to the Dow Jones market data. Factories in China have extended their New Year shutdown, and the longer they remain closed, the larger the curve of copper demand. And that could be one reason why we're seeing silver prices kind of on a slump. And that's very well could be an indicator there, with the factories shutting down, because you think about it, silver is used as well, not as much as copper, but nonetheless, with the demand being staved off by this and the coronavirus, and that may be a contributing factor of that push and pull of silver prices. Let's actually pause here and take a look at these prices now. Here are the markets here in New York. These are the markets as it is, and we can see that gold here is down 0.75%. It's down to $1,577.60, and silver is down 2%. It's the big loser of the day, the trading day. Well below $18 an ounce now. $17.74 is the asking price, while platinum and palladium are both up now as of I think there may have been a typo with the palladium price on the Market Watch article. But make no mistake, palladium is the clear winner, silver is the clear loser, but gold is taking a hit too here, as we mentioned. But the silver's, the reason why, could be part of the slump, at least for this period, maybe because of those factories. And I think the coronavirus can have a negative effect on silver prices as a commodity, as opposed to it being money and as a hedge. That could be an opportunity for buyers out there in the physical with that unique situation. And I think that is really the bottom line here, is silver is being viewed more and more as a commodity these days. You think about silver in industry and utilizing about 60% plus is used in those arenas. Now, others of it is being used in jewelry, but there's not as much in the investment bar demand. You think about it, silver, it's a great metal. It's very unique among metals out there, but it is reactive in some way. Gold is not. for uses as in industrial applications, but gold is a lot more expensive too. Silver, the most reflective metal, but for its mass, silver takes up a lot of space, in terms of its price value. So it would have to go up considerably, I think, in some ways, for people to take advantage, to want to accumulate it, and for it to really set up these new lows that many people feel are long overdue for silver. So in other words, I mentioned in a prior video that I thought we were past $13 and $14 silver. Now, obviously, I could be wrong, but I think those days are probably gone for now, and maybe forever. But are we away from $16 silver? Probably not. I could see it going back to $16. There was a time I remember on this channel years ago talking about that we'll probably never see $10 silver again. And then I got nervous when it went down to $13.62 and into the 13s, but it never did get down to $10. And I remember very vividly when silver was $4 and $5 an ounce, $6, $7 an ounce. But since for quite some time now, I think even the most bearish on silver will probably readily agree that we're probably not going to see $10 an ounce. Probably highly unlikely. We may be coming into the time where we may not see $13, $14 an ounce. But we'll see how it all plays out. Regardless, I do think we're overdue for another floor to emerge that's a solid resistance level. Some people are talking about $17.25. Well, I would say maybe now we can maybe safely say $15 could be that floor. That's highly unlikely that we're going to see silver hit that. But you never know. And the same thing can be said for gold. We've not seen it below $1,000 an ounce for quite some time, and unlikely that we will. So there you have it. It's interesting to see where the markets move, the fluidity of the markets there, and how economic data plays a factor, and obviously other things as well. This virus kind of blindsided us, and obviously has had an impact on the markets. What will it be tomorrow? Geopolitics plays a huge part. Iran, Hong Kong, Brexit, trade, all kinds of different factors come into play. So there you have it. As a reminder, I post videos on a daily basis. So bookmark this page, the video page, if you see yourself getting kicked off the subscription list, which has tended to happen. I'm watching my subscriber count go down. It's crazy. And people complaining that they're not unsubscribing, it's kicked them off. And they're not getting notifications. So if you are interested in daily videos and you don't see notification, you can always come back to this bookmark channel page. I want to extend a multitude of gratitude for y'all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.